Please help me welcome, if you will, here today on Amazing Artists and Musicians, MYRON McKINLEY. Hey, MYRON.
How you doing, man?
Thanks, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for being on Amazing Artists and Musicians Show.
Thanks for having me, man.
And you know you are.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I know you're busy. I know you're like just super busy.
Guys working it out.
So to make the time for me.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
In your bio, one of the things that I read, and we talked briefly about, was your influences. Art Tatum, Bill Evans. Y'all know I never work from paper too, but these guys with the super resumes and the bios, you need some paper, man.
Yeah,
I love working off the cuff,
Right.
because it has a better flow.
Right.
But wait till we get to his credits.
Oh, man.
That's like half of the page over here. So, but let me go back. Your influence: Art Tatum, Bill Evans, Chick Corea, and Oscar Peterson. You mentioned Herbie Hancock. What did you get from each one of those? Like, what did Oscar bring? What did Chick bring, and so forth?
I kind of look at musicians and especially keyboard players as linear and abstract. Linear players are more melodic players where you can just hear the melody. For example, great examples is Cannonball Adderley and John Coltrane when they played with Miles Davis. When Cannonball played, it was just there's all these melodies going on. Then when Coltrane came in, it was these sounds of colors. Same thing with piano players. I gravitated as I started to Oscar and Art. I just heard what they were doing. I couldn't recreate it at that time, but I was just like, I got it. And that's all I listened to. So you listen to Art, you listen to Oscar, you listen to Chick for the rhythm and the timing and the melodic structure they put inside those chords. And then when you get to Herbie, it wasn't something that I automatically heard. It took a while. It took a minute to keep listening to understand the colors aspect, the concept playing, the rhythmic playing, the colors that he brought with the chorus he did. And don't get me wrong, he could play.
Now, who was this we're talking about?
Herbie. He
Herbie,
could play Leonard.
Okay, Herbie,
We're talking about 5-6 decades of him doing all this stuff. So, but he's transitioned over the years, which makes him one of the true masters because he has all of that. Because he started out coming out. If you listen to him early, he didn't play like he plays now. You know?
Right.
So everybody, and for each one of those persons, if you take a little bit from them and add it to your vocabulary, whichever your vocabulary is, then it just makes you such a better player. It's almost like reading. It's like the more words you get, you can speak better because you have a better way of describing yourself. So the same thing with music. The more stuff you get those players, especially if it's already in you to do and it comes easy, push that out.
Which Herbie did you lean to mostly? The jazz guy that was with, was it Coltrane? Or Miles, I think it was. Or the chameleon stuff, like the electric stuff. Which one influenced you a little more?
I would say probably the chameleon and
That stuff.
And not saying I didn't like what he did before. I just think he started being himself more when he started doing. He started branching out. I mean, the one thing you can say about Herbie is that he's a true innovator, and he never stops pushing. I saw him and Chick Corea at the Disney Hall a while back, and they both were amazing. But what amazed me the most out of that whole night, you know, Chick did some amazing things with, he did a whole substitution on Spain, and I started screaming. You're not supposed to make noise, and I was just like, that's how the song goes. But he went, just like I was screaming.
Now what accord is that? What is that?
It's just a D major,
Right.
but the song is when he does it in the song is B minor.
Okay.
That's what he does in the regular chart.
Right.
But he changed it. Then he dropped down to the. I was like, man. But he wrote it, so what can you say?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And he's probably continuously thinking of it.
He's got, he wrote it and played it so many times. He's like, I know all this song in and out, so it's not a big thing for him.
When you say substitute, what exact? I got an idea, but what do you mean? He did a substitute.
A substitute chord, like for example, the chord, he was playing Crystal Silence.
Okay.
Yeah, he's playing Crystal Silence. And there's already chord structure that is supposed to be there. When you have the chart, this is what the chord is. Even with the record, this is what he played. He played something different.
Ooh.
He played the same chord, but one spot he changed it. And it was like your whole, and that's what music does. Your whole body just went like, you just feel something turn, especially when you know what it is.
Yeah.
And for the non-musicians, they don't know what they just felt. They just felt something. Mm. You know, but for us, I'm like, oh my God, did you hear what he just did? And I screamed, and people looked at me and gave me the ugly look, because they were all like, come on, we have tuxes on, what are you doing? And I was like, did you hear that? And I was like, but yeah, it's basic.
I want to ask you, how did you know at 3 years old, you was already studying jazz and classical? Mm-hmm. How did you know at 3 years old you wanted to be a keyboard player?
I didn't.
I didn't even walk at 3, I don't think.
I didn't know. I mean, pretty much, my mom started me. And she started me playing, and she saw something because they were all kind of playing music. And she would come in here and play with me, and I think we played, when I first started taking lessons, the guy, he showed us this whole little piece, right? Mm-hmm. We playing a piece. And so the guy goes, you did great, but you forgot your left hand. I said, my mom didn't tell me the left hand. And so he just started laughing. He said, but you did all that? And so after that, by 7 or 8, I was doing weddings. And so my mom was giving me, I would get like $50 to play for somebody's wedding. What? Right? She would give me $10 to a 7-year-old to spend on whatever you want.
Oh yeah.
I had all kind of G.I. Joe. Man, I had the little rock'em socker, and I didn't really think of it seriously like as a career until maybe the first year of college. When I really got to college at USC and I saw other musicians that had the same passion, because up until that time I was the only kid I knew that was practicing 4 or 5 hours a day.
Oh boy. Nobody
else was doing that. They used to come to my mailbox. We had a mailbox that went from the outside to the inside of the house, so when you open it, you could see outside.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was a little space where they put the mail.
My
friends would come to the mailbox and be like, how long you got? Now I'd come to the mailbox and be like, I got 2 hours. And they'd be like, okay, we'll drive back. And they'd go off on their bikes, and I'm still practicing. But when I got to college, and I saw other kids that had the same passion, I was like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you're from Los Angeles, huh?
Yeah.
Born and raised in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
I thought you was from somewhere else.
I stayed in Germany for a long time as an exchange student. Yeah, but
yeah. Show us a little stuff, man. Play a little for us. I couldn't let you get away without it because they're gonna ask me, Cheron, did you get him to play? Thank you. speaking of college, graduated USC.
Mm-hmm.
USC. How'd you like it down there?
Great.
You studied film scoring,
Mm-hmm.
music performance, jazz, and classical piano.
Right.
How did they receive you in college? You probably was a little bit more advanced than some of the guys, huh?
In some aspects, yes, and in some aspects, no.
Really?
Because, like I said, at that time, I hadn't seen anybody else that was playing the way we were playing. So I went to USC Annex before that and studied with Whitney Marsalis. He came and taught me and Eric Reed, who's a great player. I'm sure you heard him. Mm-hmm. And so we were taking it there. So when I got to college, it was just kind of like, okay, what are we really doing? Because we were already playing, but the theory part of it came in. We started dealing with that. They were the first person to give me a keyboard to introduce the electronics aspects of it. So for that first couple of years, it was just more learning that there's a whole nother world outside of just this and how to integrate with those other musicians. Because at that time, you're playing by yourself. I mean, literally, the first time they took us to play, I think we were 15, and the teacher at USC, at the USC Annex at the time, took me and Eric Reed to Marlowe's Memory Lane and he said, okay, it's time for you guys to start playing with some other people. He said, you guys have been playing by yourself enough. It's time to go play with a band. Takes us to Marlowe's Memory Lane. We're 14 years old. We get up there, right?
Uh-huh.
All these cats is around there. They go, okay, what do you want to play? So I've been practicing. I'm like, okay, Night in Tunisia. Drummer's like, all right, young blood, let's go. Right? He's like, count it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. I start playing the bass line. The bass player's like, I got it, man. I got it. And I'm looking at him like, what's wrong with you? I'm playing the bass line. Horn player, melody. I start playing the melody. But the horn player's like, so the whole time, I played everybody else's part.
Ooh.
Didn't let nobody else play. And I'm looking at them like, what's wrong? Because I didn't understand that's what was their time.
Wow.
And so afterwards, they were laughing. They're like, you did good, but I didn't let nobody else solo. I played the melody. I soloed. Then I played the melody to end out because I didn't have a clue. And they were laughing. And my mom had to give me a hug because I was like, why are you laughing at me? Why are you laughing? And the guy came over and said, brother, you played everybody's part. But that's what I'm saying. That's one of the things I got at USC, learning how to integrate with those other.
Tell me about, before I go to the next shot, out of all of that knowledge and theory, how did you incorporate R&B in that and the simplest? Wasn't that stuff too simple for you? It's just impulse and timing, holding timing.
I'm gonna be honest.
Compared to, the fusion.
Well, they all have their own different flavor, and I think being with Earth, Wind and Fire helped me learn a lot about that because their music is what makes it intricate. It's pieces. So long as I play this, that's going to connect with what the guitar's playing. That's going to connect with bass players playing. So you got to lock your part. You can't play different things because it changes the groove. And one of the best, I'll give you the best example of that was Maurice came to one of our rehearsals. And this was early on when I first got with the group. He came to one of our rehearsals and we were playing. And Maurice walks in the room and he just kind of vibe, right? And he walks around to everybody. He walks to the drummer, he says, drummer kind of makes a little adjustment. Watch the guitar player. Guitar player makes a little adjustment. He walks to everybody in the room, comes to me, he goes, take your left hand off. Don't play that rhythm. Because I was playing something with the left hand along with the chorus. Don't play that rhythm, take your left hand off, just play it straight up in the right hand. And you felt everything just almost like Legos go,
wow.
Bam.
Wow.
And you felt it in the room, like everybody made a little bit of adjustment, and then boom, there was a song. That was the song.
See
MYRON, after leaving college, USC, you went on and began performing with just some of the who's who, Chaka, if I may read a few. Mary, it would take me 30 minutes to read all these, though. I mean, it's just, I wish I could show y'all the paper. It's just Chaka, Mary J. Blige, Faith Evans, CeCe Winans. I mean, just
you gotta read all them.
I mean, you know, you got to do is just say anyone. Regina Bell. I want to ask you a couple of questions about some of these. What was it like working with, you mentioned Earth, Wind, and Fire, but I did see here Ashford and Simpson. What was that like?
Man, just to hear the songs that they wrote, oh my God, they wrote so many hits. So many. I mean, some of that stuff you just can't, it's like Lionel's like that, where you just go like, you wrote that? You wrote that? You wrote that? The same thing with them. It's just amazing, man. Great talents.
Did you find it challenging working with Harry Connick Jr.?
No, when we played together, it was for a benefit that he didn't know, and it was just, you know, we're backing him. He's an amazing player by himself, so we were just backing him. But it was fun. You know, he grew up under Marsalis's too, so yeah, it was great to hear him play.
Whitney Houston.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, that's a diva.
Oh my God.
And she can holler too.
She was killing it every night.
Was there any Pro Tools back then and all that stuff?
We had a little things on there, but not for her voice.
Not for her voice.
Not for her voice. It was more or less some of the production and stuff was on there, but oh my God. Very personal work for her, man. It was a lot of fun. She did a lot of. She was just amazing on stage. She knew how to get that audience and put them in the palm of her hand, and she would just carry them. And no matter what the weather we did in freezing cold, she would get up there and just kill it. It was surreal to watch.
You not only worked with a lot of great people and toured, but some of the touring jobs that you did, one stands out to me, Stanley Clarke.
Oh yeah.
What's that like, working with Stanley? That must have been right up your alley.
You know, I wasn't playing as much. Nick Smith was the main player. At the time I was helping out doing the backing chorus, but I learned a whole lot by watching him, and I learned a whole lot by playing behind him. I mean, the first gig, I'll tell you a story. When I first got it, they said, okay, you need to go to his house. And I got to his house. Stanley was like, okay, let me hear you play this. So I played this song. And he's like, okay, let me hear you solo. So I solo. He goes, oh, you sound like Nat King Cole. I was like, oh, I don't sing. And he goes, oh, you don't know. So then he gave me like all these records of Nat King Cole before he was singing.
Oh.
And Nat King Cole is a beast on the piano. I don't know if most people know. He sounds a little like Oscar. I don't know if you take a listen. But the first gig was Brazil. And all I did, we didn't have any rehearsal. First gig is Brazil. All he wanted to hear me play, solo. Okay, learn the stuff. First gig's Brazil. No rehearsal. I go to Brazil. Mind you, I never played with Stanley before, right? He starts digging in, killing it. And I'm a fan, right? So I'm on the side of the stage and I'm like grooving, right? Like, dude is killing, right? So finally Stanley starts looking around. He goes, and he notices no keyboards. It's playing. He goes, play. I was like, oh yeah, that's why I'm here to work. I forgot that I was supposed to be playing. I was just like grooving with him so much. It was, yeah, man. He's an amazing person and player. Amazing person and player. Yeah.
You also work with Vesta.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Vesta's got a big voice.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What was that like?
She was fun. Vesta was she was a musician singer. She knew how to carry the band. She knew how to integrate with the crowd. She was a combination of everything, you know, and not to mention her personality was great. I actually got the chance to produce her on a couple things too, so a lot of fun.
I see here you did a lot of producing. Howard Hewitt, Philip Bailey.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about, if we will, if we can, film scoring. You've scored some good ones here. Undisputed.
Worked on that with Stanley.
Yeah, you did?
Yeah, worked on that with us.
Tell me about Red Sneakers. What was that?
Red Sneakers was another Stanley project that he did.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and after doing the gig with him, I ended up doing a lot of writing with like the Soul Food series, Static Shock cartoons and stuff with him. And it was just, he kind of took me under his wing and was like, oh, I see you have a knack for, because scoring is a different thing. You know, it's actually looking at a picture and being able to put that emotion that the director wants through music on top of that. And, you know, the first thing we started out was Romeo Must Die. So, like, all the fight scenes in Romeo Must Die is the ones that I actually wrote myself. And it was martial arts. And Stanley's in martial arts, too. I don't know if you know. He's a black belt.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he did Transporter, he did all those things, and then once we found we were kindred spirits on the martial arts thing, that's how I started Romeo Must Die. But it was a lot of fun, yeah. So Red Sneakers was the same thing. We just kind of added some great scoring to that.
You did scoring on The Best Man, huh?
With him, yeah.
Oh, that was for Stanley too?
Yeah.
Stanley has a lot of stuff we didn't know.
A lot of stuff.
We just know him for the jazz stuff.
Most people don't know he did the Transporter. The first Transporter,
Wow.
that was him.
The Best Man. Did you do writing or just playing?
A couple cues.
I want to talk about this. This is really exciting. The highly anticipated debut album from your band, the MYRON McKINLey Trio, the CD called Time.
Yes.
Tell me about that. Do you have a copy of it? No, we can.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Bring it on up.
Yep.
Bring it on up. Let's take a look at it. There it is. Look at that. And I'm touching it, yeah. And I'm going to get a picture of it, but here it is here, and we'll do a close-up of it. Tell us a little bit about it.
We
Do you need to hold it?
No, it's fine. We did a video, a YouTube video that kind of went viral. Another thing we were talking about. We did this YouTube video pretty much we did this NAMM thing every year. I would go and say thank you to the artist that was helping us, that were endorsing us. So at the time it was Curse Wow. So I would take up there a couple guys and we would play. And I've done it for maybe 3 or 4 years. This year, I brought us a special group of guys. I brought Stacy Lamont Sidnor. I brought Ian Martin.
Mm-hmm.
As we're rehearsing, I teach them on one original song, which is E12. Teach it to them.
That's on the CD?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, we're probably not going to do this. But I teach it to them anyway. So we do this show. Stacy, the drummer,
Awesome.
Stacy Lamont sitting there goes, we got to play your song. And I just want to show you how God is working in this. When I tell you this, you're going to freak out. So he goes, we got to play your song. I'm going, dude, it's too cerebral. Nobody wants to hear that song.
Mm-hmm.
He said, man, we got to play your song. I said, okay, we got one more. Let's go. Let's start playing. We start playing the song. Play the whole song. Crowds all around us while we're playing. So, great gig. Go home. 3 days later, Stacy texts me. Are you watching this? Watching what? You see this on Facebook? So he sends me the link. I'm sitting upstairs. I hear the link. I go, who's playing my song? And then I look at the little, I was like, oh, that's us. But if from the angle, somebody had filmed all 3 of us playing with great sound and can see everybody.
Yeah.
And it went viral.
Before I close you up here, tell me about MYRON McKINLEY going forward.
Mm-hmm.
What's the giving God the glory, of course.
Amen.
What's the future? What's some of the stuff you're looking at? What's some of the stuff inside your head? I know we can't handle it, but lay a little bit of it on us.
I have a cartoon that I'm developing.
Wow. You doing the whole thing, the animation?
I'm not going to do it, but I've already wrote the whole thing out.
Wow.
Doing all the, that's in development. I have a solo project that I've been working on before the trio even started. That I just got finished and mixed by a great mixer, Claudio. So this year is a lot of stuff going on.
Wow.
There's a lot of things in the work. I'm working with a group of kids in Fort Wayne called Unity coming up, going to help teach them. So it's a lot of things, and the funny thing is, like, I don't really know how everything's going. I just know that I'm working with all these, and I let his hand take care of it, let him do it from that point on.
Will you say something to, and we always end the shows like this, will you say something to those young keyboard players, aspiring keyboard players? Would you give them a little hope, give them a little encouragement? Would you leave a
I'll tell
word
you
for those guys?
something that was the best thing for me. One of my favorite keyboard players in the world was Kenny Kirkland. And what he told me that I'll never forget is, and remember this, nobody can beat you being you. And if you get that, if you focus on you, and I don't mean not taking something from anybody else and gravitating and appreciating it, but really focusing on the essence of what you are. And if you apply that to life, that works too. If as a person, you can always find somebody that has something a little bit better or something a little bit different, but the essence of who you are, that combination can't be recreated. God did that. It can't be recreated. So if you shine that light, that's a different kind of light.
And it's the only
light in existence for that kind of combination. And I remember him telling me that because I was talking with him. I was like, man, he encompasses all of them. Kenny Kirkland, you can go from Oscar to Herbie. He had all of that. He had elements of all of that, and he executed them flawlessly, right? And I was like, man, I would talk to him, and one thing he said, you guys don't have the venue or the avenue to perform as much as we did, so you're missing out on that aspect. Like, they could go play at clubs 4 nights a week. I mean, one club, 4 different places. We don't do that. I mean, LA, where can you play?
Right.
It's 3 places.
Yeah.
So he said that's one thing, but also, if you focus on what your natural thing is, your natural gift, or whatever that is, if it's, some people have a great signature of time, some people have great ears, some people have a good concept of chordal structures, some people have fluidity, somebody have dexterity. Whatever that thing is that you do, you work on that. Develop that to the best of your ability, and then add those other colors, and it just keeps building up to that. That's the example.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
We got to do a part 3,
Come
part
on, man.
7, part 8.
Let's look it up.
Thank you so much for being
you,
on,
brother.
amazing artists and musicians.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Would
for
you help
having
us
me.
say bye to the audience there?
See y'all.
Bye-bye. See you again.